For this county fire department, initial response was 15 pieces of apparatus and 56 personnel that consisted of paramedics, engine company, heavy rescue, truck company, hand crews, and aircraft, and the chief officer to oversee the incident. Upon arrival, during the incident, and upon arrival of the Sheriff's Department, our two respective departments entered into unified command to handle this incident. Our firefighters on scene indicated that there was a debris-filled and steep terrain with a quarter-acre brush fire that was occurring at the time. Our firefighters hiked in to the accident site with their medical equipment and hose lines to extinguish the stubborn fire, as it included the brush fire, debris from the helicopter, and the fire also included magnesium, which is very hard for our firefighters to extinguish because magnesium reacts with oxygen and water. In addition to our firefighters hiking into the incident, we had one helicopter flying to the incident with firefighter paramedics on board. Those paramedics were hoisted down to the incident early into the incident. They did a search of the area for survivors. Unfortunately, all the survivors on board were determined to have been perished. Firefighters and hand crews worked to extinguish the fire while carefully preserving the incident for investigation. Currently, this investigation is still ongoing. I would like to turn this over to my sheriff to continue the press briefing.
Thank you, Chief Osby. Personnel from Los Angeles Sheriff's Station responded to the scene of the crash site and assisted the fire department, and we've established a containment area, and now our Aero Bureau has a handle on traffic or aircraft accidents. However, when there's a fatality, then it switches to the National Transportation Safety Bureau, the NTSB, and the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA. The FAA is already on scene and assisting. We're waiting the arrival of the coroner's office to assist in the recovery of the remains. As the chief indicated, there were no survivors. We have a manifest that indicates that there was 9 people on board the aircraft. The pilot plus 8 individuals. There is wide speculation of who the identities are. However, it would be entirely inappropriate right now to identify anyone by name until the coroner has made the identification through their very deliberative process, and then made notifications to next of kin. And it'd be extremely disrespectful to understand that your loved one was perished and you learn about it from TMZ. That is just wholly inappropriate. So we're not going to be going there. We're going to wait till the coroner does their job, and we're assisting the families of those who believe they've been impacted, and it's a tough process. And our hope goes out to all of the members who were on board, all the family of everyone who was on board this aircraft, and God bless their souls. So at this point in time, we have nothing that we can add until the coroner does their job, and we'll be making those notifications when we have the information and we know the next of kin have been notified. Then we can release the information publicly, and you'll be notified in subsequent announcements.
Sheriff, there's one thing you can confirm. We have a confirmation actually of 9 bodies there at the scene.
That is our belief, yes.
So we realize at this point there are so many questions. There's a lot of information out there, and again, we understand. There's a lot of information that's floating, but we certainly have a responsibility and an obligation out of respect, of course, for the families. So this is a very difficult time for us all, for the city. We have the mayor here of Calabasas, also the city council. We thank them for being here, and in fact, they wanted to pass on a message that for those in the community that want to gather here, coming to Calabasas, if you do, you are welcome to join others at the Deanza Park here in Calabasas, and the cross streets there are Los Hills and Los Virgins. Also, the Sheriff's Information Bureau will be sending out updates as to when there will be, if there is one, a press advisory out, a notification of another press conference, or any other updates through our Twitter. So please look for that. And again, we thank you so much for being here today. And again, thank you for your time.
Sheriff, just sealing off the area. We know the NTSB has to be there to do that thing. Is the public going to be able to get anywhere nearby, or is it stretch up while Spurgeon is going to be shut down for an indeterminate period of time?
It remains shut down for an indeterminate.
How big of an area? Any idea?
Can you refer to heavy fog in here?
All right, so you've been listening there to the LA County Fire Department Chief and the LA County Sheriff giving a bit more information on what happened earlier today. The bit of new information that you had not heard, according to the sheriff, you heard just moments ago, saying that 9 people, they believe, were actually on board this helicopter. Again, the sheriff saying 9 people were on board, but also emphasizing, as you heard, that they are not identifying anyone by name pending notification of kin. We were told by the fire chief, Daryl Osby, that this call came in at around 9:47 a.m. local time of a potential helicopter down and brush fire in Calabasas. They sent 56 personnel, including paramedics, some of whom were actually flown to the scene by helicopter and then lowered to the area to do a search for survivors. However, everyone on board perished. The FAA, the sheriff says, is already on the scene. They are awaiting the arrival of the NTSB investigators as well as the coroner. But that is the very latest that we have heard with respect to what happened in this helicopter crash earlier today in Calabasas, California. Right now, we want to play a bit of a report from KCBS Sports Director Jim Hill, who we've been dipping into our CBSN Los Angeles coverage, was on speaking about the death of Kobe Bryant. Let's go ahead and listen to some of that.
This is more than sad, if you know what I mean. When you have someone who is, let's say he is, because he still lives in the world, who is so young, so gifted, so wonderful, we all know he's a great basketball player, but he was a better father, husband, and family man. He did so much in our community that a lot of people really don't know about. We know about some of the things that he did. But there are stories that I know of where he has helped personally to help young kids go to school. Gave them money to go to school. And I'm not just talking about junior high or high school, I'm talking about college and things like that. He made the adjustment to retirement better than anyone I've ever met. He was, you always hear about athletes who, when they retire, they don't know what to do.
Right. Might be lost.
They get lost, they're sick, their money is stolen, they get into all kinds of trouble and things like that. Not him. He was preparing his entire athletic life for when he was going to retire. And when he retired, he knew exactly what he was going to do. There was no guessing or anything about it. One of the things, he became an author, and one of the books is Legacy and the Queen. And I went down and did an interview with him, and he talked about that. And one of the things it stuck out in my mind when I first looked at it, and I opened it up, and it says here, to Nani, Gigi, Bibi, and Coco, my 4 beautiful, spirited, strong daughters. Here's the part. When you fiercely protect your passion, no one can steal your dreams. Kobe Bryant.
Isn't that really him in a nutshell? He had so much that he planned ahead. You mentioned, so many players go hit the golf course and they retire, but he had a plan not only for when he was 18 years old to play in the NBA, but a plan for after the NBA, and he succeeded at both.
Sure. And the other thing is, we all had our ups and downs. He's showing a tape right here of when I saw him at LAFC. If I'm not mistaken, that's the last time. No, that is the last time I did an interview with him. That may have been the last time anyone did an interview with him. We were talking about. I asked him about going into the Hall of Fame, and in typical Kobe Bryant fashion, no, that's okay. I'm not really concerned. I'll worry about that when it's time to. He always deflected personal, individual gain and notoriety. He always tried to put it off to the side because he knew that's not what it was all about. What it was all about giving back and helping our young people. And we talk about giving back. And we just celebrated Dr. King's birthday. And I was driving in, I was thinking that was a statement that Dr. King said that maybe it applies to Kobe today and what he was trying to do. And that was giving back to your fellow mankind is one of the most noble things that anyone can do. And what could be more noble than helping our young people and to make sure that they don't make the mistakes that we have made. And that's what Kobe does. That's what he did. You know, that's what LeBron does. That's what Magic does. That's what a lot of it. But when you think about being at the forefront of all those things, Kobe, Bryant, and I remember the night of his retirement at Staples Center. Oh, he just got off on that game, stuff like that. I mean, he came back out with a towel wrapped around his shoulders, and the last thing he said was, "I'm out."
Yeah. Mamba out.
Yeah, Mamba out.
Because he was ready for his next chapter.
That was it. Yeah.
All right, we want to take you back now to CBS on Los Angeles for their continuing coverage. Right now, they are speaking to another NBA legend, Magic Johnson.
And people are going to miss his smile and just miss him because Kobe had an aura about him. And Jim, it was like, I thought he was going to live forever. I thought he was invincible. I thought he was, you know, he played like that. He walked like that. He was just a confident young man. And when Jerry West drafted him, I remember him telling us when he went one-on-one against Kobe, I'm sorry, against Michael Cooper, that Kobe was the next greatest player to play in the league. He was 17 years old. He wasn't even 18 yet. And I'm like, what? Are you sure, Jerry? And boy, was Jerry right. He was spot on. And we will always remember what Kobe did on the court, but we will remember him, what he did off the court too, and for the city. And I think right now that we could probably put it into words of what he's meant for Los Angeles. It's just, I'm gonna miss him because we used to talk about Italy and being a father and husband and, you know, things that were just special to the two of us. And I'm gonna miss those conversations I had with him and miss him and the impact that he made in our city.
You know, you talked about the family. He was a true family man, and he loved the idea, Urban. He loved the idea that everyone in the family were ladies. He said, man, I live in a house full of women.
I know. We often talked about that. And again, you know, I got the honor of blessing him when they put both of his numbers up, and number 8, number 24, and you know, it's just Kobe is unique in so many different ways. And when you put on that uniform, that Laker uniform, there was nobody who took more pride in being a Laker than Kobe. Nobody. I mean, it was just amazing. And the city needs heroes, Jim. We need our heroes to be here. And this is not a good day for the city of Los Angeles, and because we needed Kobe to still be around, and our kids who idolized him, and the fan base who idolized him, and there was more for him to do. You know, he died way too early, and he's left quite a legacy, but he was still building on that. So this is a sad day for all of us.
And I know in his post career, he was ready to retire. I mean, when he said Mamba out, he was already prepared because he, like you, had prepared for their post career while they were still playing.
Yeah. He's a decisive young man, and he knew he left it all on the court. You know, we were all in there when he scored those 60 points, 60 or 61 points that last game. I mean, man, who goes out that way, you know? I mean, mean, only Kobe could go and dominate that last game to say goodbye to all the fans, and he's just special. God created this special basketball player, but also this special man, and we will miss him, and we will remember him for his greatness, but also let's remember how he affected the world too, because he impacted the world, and very few athletes get to impact the world like Kobe Bryant did, and then also our city, because that's the main thing, is that he touched our city, giving back. And just last night, we're celebrating, even with LeBron passing it, we were still celebrating Kobe as well. We celebrated LeBron's greatness, but we were celebrating Kobe's greatness as well. And then today, to have to say goodbye to a hero, to a legend, to an icon, and a guy that we will always love and remember in our hearts.
You remember, I was talking to Jerry West just a couple of moments ago. This was a playoff game in Utah, and the Lakers were really playing bad. And Kobe at halftime stood up and told everybody, if you guys are afraid of winning, get out of my way, I'll win it myself.
Yeah, well, Kobe's mindset. I mean, this guy, he wanted to win, and he would do anything it took to win. Anything that, whether he was a great defender besides
news for all of us. And sorry, I don't have a lot to say. I just have to go talk to a team before a game and tell them to play again.
We get caught up in this world in debates and who's the greatest, and love to judge people and off the court and on the court decisions. I think a lot of times we forget about who people are. And I know for me, I had a defining moment in my life that he pushed me in the right direction. And but for somebody who's a new father, who has a baby girl, I'm not going to say prayers and condolences, because I don't even know how you capture this moment, man. I know everybody's coming out with their Kobe Bryant story, and that's fine. But he is just, he was one of the most special individuals I've ever met. And it wasn't just his on-the-court performance. It was who he wanted to be, how he held himself. And we're all prone to make mistakes. We all live this life. But his innate character, his being, his spirit was incredible. It was just incredible. And it's rare that I've been around a lot of people in my life, and every time I was around him, if that was through the Players Tribune, if that was through as a player, if that was through random workouts, there's something so damn uplifting about him. It just made you want to be better in every aspect of your life, because that's who he was. And that's a standard of excellence that he held himself to all the time. And today's a tough day. Today's a hard day. And I hope that everybody at home, you give that person next to you whatever thing you have wrong in your life with them. If this might be small or big, let it go. Doesn't matter. I know I curse. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
None of that stuff matters, man. This is it's about life and being precious with every damn second we have here. Because from somebody who knows who almost happened to me like that, man, it's just over. It's done randomly, arbitrarily. And his 4 girls and his wife. We need to come around them and support them and help them. And the NBA should cancel all games today. I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, we should mention there are 8 games in the NBA today. It appears as though at least the Rockets-Nuggets game is going off because they did hold a moment of silence, a moment of prayer in a sense, before they tipped off this afternoon to eulogize and to remember one of the greatest players that's ever picked up a basketball. I know he impacted your life personally, professionally, way beyond the game, and you can answer this from a basketball perspective or beyond. What separated Kobe Bryant from other people?
So my rookie year, I only played 1 year in the league. And my rookie year, we were playing against the championship Lakers. And it's Kobe, Shaq, that squad. And I remember I was in a slump, wasn't playing well, I was getting sidetracked throughout the season, doing things I shouldn't be doing. And, pumped up about playing this guy here. And I got to the Staples Center early that day, around 2 o'clock, 2:33 to shoot and get 400 made shots. And, I walk in with the ball boy and I put on my sneakers and who do I see? I see Kobe Bryant working out so hard, like game-like moves. And watching him like, all right, thank you. That's my motivation for today. That's great. I get a chance to work out when Kobe Bryant's working out. And I go and I do my workout and I work out for about an hour and 15 minutes. And I go back on the sideline, I unlace my shoes and I keep hearing the ball bounce. I look down and this guy's still going. He's still going, and it's still the same type of moves that I saw him going from the moment I walked in the gym. And I sat there and watched him for 10 minutes, and then I left. I was like, there's no way this guy's going to be able to have enough energy to play against us tonight. And that night, he just destroyed us. He destroyed us in every facet of the game. And I remember after the whole game was over, I was like, don't be that cheesy dude. Don't ask another man, like another guy, like where that drive comes from. But I couldn't help myself. I saw him out, and I found him. I said, why? Why did you stay and keep working out? And this line changed my life as a person. He said, because I saw you come in the gym and I want you to know that no matter how hard you worked, you weren't going to outwork me. And it was one of those things where I was sitting there saying, like, who am I? Who am I? But that's just how he was, that's the cloth he was cut from. That's who he was every day. In every facet of his life. If it was him trying to be better, coming up with cartoons, the animated series, winning a damn Oscar. If it was him trying to be better as a person. I don't know every aspect about Kobe, but I know how he touched me in my life. And that moment right there was, I know my career ended short, but I carry that in everything I do. Like, that's how I attack my life. And if it's with my wife, being a better husband, if it's with my daughter, being a better dad, if it's with work, how do I work more, how do I work better, how do I work more efficiently? That's a huge part of who I am because of that moment. And I can never thank him enough for that.
Your words have been incredibly poignant. The San Antonio Spurs are going to tip off in 9 minutes. I would imagine they'll ask Greg Popovich, who's had his great duels with Kobe over the years, to talk about it after the game. As I mentioned, 8 games in the association today. The Lakers will not play today the Los Angeles Clippers at the Staples Center on Tuesday night, and you can only imagine the amount of emotion that might be welling up in that building. Last thing for you, Jay. Like yourself, he was a father, a husband. Kobe was an NBA legend. He was even an Academy Award winner. On and off the court, you seemingly know him very well from the comments you've just given. Kobe Bean Bryant's legacy will be?
I don't know how to define the greatness in his legacy. It's one of those things that it can't be put into words. You had to be around him to feel it. It spoke for itself. It was this aura that he had around him. You didn't need to hear somebody paraphrase it. It was greatness, man.
Simply put.
I can't explain greatness.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN.
But that Kobe loved that pressure on him to still perform at a high level. And and what I love, when we did retire both numbers, Jim, you saw guys like myself, Kareem, school guys who never played with Kobe, but they were there celebrating him. James Worthy, Michael Cooper, on and on and on, Byron Scott, So we were all there too, celebrating him. And that the Lakers and Jeannie Buss, who, Jeannie is just devastated. This is like I told you earlier, her brother. It was just great of the Buss family to do that for Kobe, and that's how much it meant to the Buss family, but also to Laker Nation and all the great Laker fans we have around the world.
I appreciate your time, Magic. Thanks so much, man. And like we always say, we just got to keep the faith.
Yeah, this is not a conversation I ever want to have, but my heart's just been broken. I got out of church and found this out, and I just still can't believe it. Not Kobe. But we have to pray and pray for his family, also for his mom and dad. I prayed against Joe, his father, Jelly Bean. So we want to pray for him and his sisters as well, and his kids, and again, his beautiful wife. And so that they can, have the strength to carry on. And Jim, thank you, and Pat, and everybody at the studio for what you guys have been doing for us today, just to share the memories, share some of the clips of Kobe and telling his story as well. So thank you, guys.
All right, Irvin, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. God bless you. That's one of the most thoughtful individuals I have ever been around talking about Magic, and just to hear one superstar,
that's a
megastar, be in awe.
For him to say, he was the greatest Laker. Yes. Oh my God! I immediately, upon hearing about this, and I was with some women from Michigan, 2 of them from Lansing. We happened to be talking about Irvin on our trip, and remember when Irvin retired? That was such a blow to, especially in Los Angeles, especially for those who had watched him play. He didn't have his family at the time, but we were so saddened to hear that he wasn't going to play anymore. And the question, who could possibly light up this city again? Who could possibly provide that spark for the Lakers to win championships? Because let's face it, right, Jim? This is a championship nation, championship city. And then here comes 17-year-old Kobe Bryant, straight out of high school, and just immediately became the superstar with the Lakers. And to get to watch, listen to Irvin, and to watch Kobe, both of them when they got married and they had children. So to watch them raise their kids, and really to hear Irvin talk about Kobe like that, because he really did take him under his wing. It's just it's so sad. It's also very touching and heartwarming.
He will always live in our hearts.
There's no question.
Always live in our hearts.
It's amazing what Magic said about nobody took more pride in putting on a Lakers uniform than Kobe Bryant.
And think of all the great, that we've seen.
Yes.
Yeah. He knows.
Irvin, he's played with all of them. I want to say he was the first one when Irvin came to the Lakers, and now to have this to actually witness, and again, just seeing Kobe win, actually have LeBron break his record last night.
Just on Saturday,
What really I think touches most of us sitting here, and especially as Jim has been talking about, just everything that he brought beyond the game, and even beyond the business, just himself as a person, as a family man, believing in young people and inspiring them to do great things, not only in basketball. And if you did become as great a player as Kobe Bryant, just to really live your life well and contribute to society.
And there's only a few people that you recognize, and we talked about it a little earlier, that you recognize by just one name. That's right.
That's right.
Magic, Michael, Tiger, Muhammad, LeBron, Kobe.
Yes, and sports, that's for sure. And just very difficult.
And to have the respect of those competitors too. Doc Rivers, Clippers coach, we also have sound from him. He's responding and reacting to Kobe's death.
I just don't have a lot to say. The news is just devastating to everybody who know him a long time. And, you know, he means a lot to me, obviously. You know, he was such a great opponent, you know. It's what you want in sports. He had that DNA that very few athletes can ever have. You know, the Tiger Woods and the Michael Jordans. You know, it's funny. I was getting to know him more since he retired. You know, yeah, this is a tough one. I don't. You know, we have to go play. I mean, the news is just devastating for Vanessa and his family, and there's just so many people he touched.
Well, you just heard a heartbroken Doc Rivers, coach of the LA Clippers. Before we go to some very devastated fans at LA Live, I do want to mention again that we did identify another person that was on the chopper, a hero in his own right. His name is John Altobelli. He was the coach of the Orange Coast baseball team. He also perished in this crash.
We have, of course, a growing memorial that's happening at the Staples Center. Leslie Marine is with us. She joins us now from the LA Live area just across the street from Staples Center with a look at what's happening there. Leslie?
I'll tell you, so many times fans came out to see Kobe Bryant and they would just celebrate in front of the Staples Center, of course, but today, a very somber mood, a lot of tears and also a lot of Kobe jerseys, a lot of Lakers jerseys. I want to show you behind me here. We're at LA Live. That's because the area in front of Staples Center is blocked off because of Grammys tonight, but you can see every one of these TV screens out here do have Kobe's photo on them in loving memory of Kobe Bryant. It says from the year he was born, 1978, to obviously today, 2020, when he did die. But fans occasionally will start chanting Kobe every so often. They'll chant MVP. There are several memorials, several spots across this LA Live area where people are placing flowers, bouquets. They have pictures, letters. I saw a handwritten letter to Kobe. I do want to bring in a fan here. His name is Victor. He's been carrying around what you said was a pillowcase, but you felt compelled, obviously, to come down here and be here with other fans. Why was that?
I just woke up and I saw the news, and it just hit me because I guess what Michael Jordan was to a lot of people is what Kobe was to me. When they won the first couple of championships, I was a young buck. I was 10, 11, 12, and wow, he's just a legend in every aspect, in every view. I can only imagine how his family is feeling. Our hearts goes out to them, and the NBA League especially. I know LeBron, they had something going on yesterday, and I can only imagine.
Talking, you can probably hear everyone behind us. They're yelling Kobe. They were also yelling Gigi, which is Kobe's daughter, who passed away as well. Occasionally the crowd will do that. They'll start chanting. But what is the feeling like being here with other people right now? Is it helping this mourning process?
You know what? They're our family. They're my family. Unfortunately, I didn't grow up with a real family, biological family, but these guys are my family. And every time we come together, it's just unity. It's just love. There's no hate, and that's what we're doing here. We're trying to show the world in California what we're all about, you know, and we're here together forever.
Thank you so much, Victor, for talking to us. I really appreciate that. Of course, it is Grammy Sunday, so LAPD has asked people not to come down here. That's because many of the streets around Staples Center are completely shut down. Grammys Staples Center every year. But I will tell you, that hasn't stopped anyone. People continue to stop by. I would say there are hundreds of people here, people bringing down flowers, people bringing down posters. I don't know if you can see the guy behind me. He's carrying a huge poster. You also see some of the people that are attending the Grammys, at least it looks like it because they're dressed to the nines. They have come down here as well to pay their respects. We're just going to stand this crowd for you. You can see a lot of Laker gear, a lot of Kobe jerseys. It's an unreal mood being down here. A lot of people describing the moment they got here, they were just in disbelief, but once they got here, it really hit them that Kobe had passed away. And you can see someone else holding, of course, more Kobe memorabilia. It's something we're going to continue to see down here, I think, throughout the day. This crowd just continues to grow. But it's definitely not the news anyone wanted to hear, and people still very much in disbelief, but they feel like if they come together, it will help them mourn a bit, and I think I can understand that, because once you come down here, you can see just the feeling. It feels good to be around other people that understand what the emotions and the feelings everyone's going through right now. Of course, we're going to be out here with fans all day, but for now, we'll turn it back to you guys.
All right, Leslie, Marine, thank you so much for that. You know, I was trying to find exactly the years, and I'm sure somebody will tell me. Kobe won championships with this guy here, the big guy, Shaq. And I'm going to read you a tweet that just came in from Shaq. He said, Kobe was so much more than an athlete. He was a family man. That was what we had most in common. I would hug his children like they were my own, and he would embrace my kids like they were his. His baby girl, Gigi, was born on the same day as my youngest daughter, Mia. Jeff, I got to tell you, when they won the championships and we would have the Lakers parade, the people that we wanted to see most, obviously, Shaq and Kobe, because they were such a powerful team. And those are really happy times.
You know, it's interesting. We continue to see this thread as we talk to people like Jerry West and Doc Rivers and Magic Johnson, and you mentioned Shaquille O'Neal there. And Magic had said something very similar to what Shaquille said. And what he's going to miss about Kobe is those conversations about his family, his daughters, how much of that family unit was important to him.
And he was very deep.
Absolutely.
Kobe was very deep. Just, he came to the NBA right out of high school.
17,
right here.
Youngest NBA player.
Yes, to Los Angeles. But just in terms of how as learned as he was, and playing, I'm sure, living overseas in Europe, he brought a different perspective here, and I'm sure that helped him in terms of creating, what kind of man he wanted to be. Sure, there were some obstacles, but how else do you learn and you grow from things that are put before you, or even things that happen in your life, to come out on the other side a better person? Isn't that a great thing? And when you think about the wisdom that he did pass on to his own children, his daughters, and kids around the world, that Kobe Bryant basketball camp, he would show up. It could be on the first day or the last day, but he would be there. He would talk to the kids and maybe tell them, like, this is, you should, the drills, you should be doing a little more of this or a little more of that. So it's just one thing to say that, yes, he was one of the greatest ever, not just a Laker, but to play the game of basketball. But he also just grew so much beyond that.
It's interesting that you mentioned going to basketball practices. It may be that's what they were going to, was to a basketball facility in Thousand Oaks, is what we're hearing, and we've continued to get information related to that. And very rarely does the Grammys ever get overshadowed with news, but today is going to be that day with Kobe Bryant.
And we're going to go to Brittany Hopper after the Grammys in just a moment, but first we're going to go to Joy Benedict, who is in Newport Coast, and that, of course, is where Kobe called home for so many years. Joy?
Yeah, certainly just a heartbreaking scene out here, as so many people have been gathering all afternoon simply to pay their respects. And I want to show you a small memorial that is starting to grow here in front of this gated community, as folks have been coming by with flowers and balloons and just to really feel his presence. That's what everyone is telling me. And I know they don't want me to do this, but they're all behind the camera. I see about 30 or so people, if we can turn the camera around. But that's why they're here.
here. They're here because they want to feel his presence, and they certainly want his family to know and offer their strength. They're coming with jerseys and T-shirts and balloons and flowers, as everybody really just wants to be around. And I know most of you are very silent, but I don't know if any of you have a story that you feel up to sharing. I know I was talking to you earlier today. You go to the same church as his family, correct?
I do. I'm a member of Our Lady Queen of Angels right here in Newport Beach, and Kobe and his family is also a member.
Yes, and you said that you guys were saying a prayer this morning.
We did, and at our 12 o'clock Mass, Father Anthony Booth said a special prayer to the entire church for Kobe and everyone involved, and the entire community.
And I think it really is a loss, and you can tell that by the number of people who are here, and other things that we're hearing is everybody sort of had a Kobe story. Like I talked to a young man earlier today, and he was a teenager, and he said, I would see him in the grocery store, and I asked for a photo, and I told him, I don't really play basketball, but I play football. And Kobe told him, well, what's important is you play whatever you want to and stick with it and be athletic and be a part of a team. And he really pushed that to really everybody who was out here. And so that's what you're hearing. This is a community that's seen Kobe for years. So he wasn't really, the novelty up here. He was the guy you saw at the grocery store. He was the guy you saw at the gym. He was the guy you saw walking across the street. And I think it was Jim Hill who said, he literally stopped traffic. And he really did, even in his own community here, as so many people are just really wanting to show their respect, and that's what they're doing here. And I see a lot of folks nodding their head at me, but not really wanting to talk, just about some of those stories. I said, he's someone that you saw everywhere, and I'm assuming that's the same for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a collage of pictures reflecting basically my entire childhood and every single age of a picture with Kobe, so I will cherish that forever.
What do you think it is about Kobe that made him just such a magnetic personality?
He was a black mamba. He had the mamba mentality, and he always kept that with him no matter where he was, what he was doing, and he was a family man. A good father, so.
Somebody out here just a few moments ago had a video of him just last night at the mall walking around with, I guess it would have been his second youngest daughter, and they were sharing that. So that's what you're seeing out here is just a lot of stories, a lot of sharing. But in case you've noticed, there's also a lot of smiles, because in all of these Kobe memories, the championships, or just seeing him at the mall, or him stopping to say hello and shake their hands. Like, these are happy memories, right? There you go.
Cold outside a little bit. I know California cold's a little different than real cold, but gotta represent the t-shirt. Always love Kobe.
Absolutely. No matter which number a jersey you have, an 8 or a 24, really, it's just a lot of heart and a lot of memories. And, as I've been saying all afternoon, he was just a force to be around, be it on the court, in the locker room, in the community, wherever he was. Kobe Bryant just had that magnetic personality, as people would follow him all around. I'd see people follow him through the hotel lobbies and follow him out through the halls. Like, everybody just wanted a chance to be like, hey, Kobe, I'm so-and-so, I'm a big fan of yours, and I just love having you around. And that's just the kind of person he was, and it's a memory many are going to have, and it's a presence that will surely be missed by many. Guys?
There's no question about that, Joy. And we're going to go to an event, major event here in Los Angeles, the Grammy Awards. Now, you talk about your celebrities and your music stars. So many people there, I'm sure, are saddened today because they were in awe of Kobe. If I could have a list of all the songs that Kobe Bryant's name showed up, sure, we would be here forever. But these are people that in their own right are music geniuses, but they also just idolize Kobe Bryant for who he was and what he did.
And this is happening at the Staples Center. All those great games that Kobe had there for the Lakers, and his two jerseys, number 8 and number 24, will be hanging from the rafters during the Grammys tonight.
Oh, sure. And I bet when we talked to Brittany Hopper, Jeff, I am sure they probably scrambled to make some changes to tonight's show. Here's Brittany now. Brittany?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, we are basically at his home away from home, and I can tell you that when news hit, this tragic news hit, I mean, it just sent shockwaves through this red carpet. There hasn't been really a dry eye when I talk to folks here on the red carpet. You know, here with me live right now is Robert Kraft. You've been in the sports world for so many years. Can we talk a little bit about the legendary Kobe Bryant and what was your feelings, your thoughts when you heard this tragic news today?
We're just shocked. It makes us all realize how we can't take anything for granted. Make sure you give a special hug and kiss to everyone who's dear to you, and seeing his beautiful little beloved daughter. I mean, that is 13, and I know the pride he took in her. So it's a little. Here we are at Kobe's home in the Staples Center, and I had a chance to see him at his last, one of his last games here, and he was such a gentleman, a great competitor. So
and so incredibly charitable, so fatherly. I mean, everything positive you could say about this man.
And that's what makes us so sad. And for those of us who are privileged to wake up every day in good health and you have good family around you,
amen to that.
Make sure you give them a special hug and kiss today.
Absolutely. And, you know, I mean, within the sports world, though, what have you talked to anyone personally?
I got like 50 texts and emails from people who are just, this is really shocking. It's a global impact, so, and it just, everyone should just step back and think and count their blessings.
Absolutely. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for talking to me on live TV. You know, and I also, with what he just said, I also want to go to a couple of sound bites because we talked to Rick Ross. Rick Ross is up for Best Rap Song. Rick Ross is not a man who really shows a lot of emotion. And he told me that he actually, when he heard the news, he had his driver pull off to the side of the road. He had to take a moment and just say a prayer for Kobe Bryant's family. Skrillex is another one that I talked to. He's this huge music producer and also up for a Grammy nomination. And they both said that it's difficult to even celebrate the Grammys in their nomination. Skrillex was born and raised here in LA. He said it perfectly. LA is Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is LA. Take a listen.
Losing a massive superhero for us like that, and
definitely heartbroken. We grew up to Kobe, man. Like I know the city's hurting right now. I'm definitely hurting, but most important, praying for his family. You know, his wife and his 4 kids. So hopefully, God will comfort them right now. You know what I mean? So. Shout out to Kobe, long live Kobe. We're in Kobe's house right now, and it's Kobe's house forever.
I'm not even sure how I could put that in words. You know, I just got the news, and like I said, I was actually getting dressed maybe a little over an hour ago, and somebody told me that. And, I just stopped what I was doing, and I waited a minute or two, and I asked him reconfirm that because either
I think all of us did.
Yeah, it's either I don't believe it, so I just don't want to believe this. But every time we ever came across each other's paths, I let him know I was a genuine fan of his work. He always moved himself in silence. He was always so classy. He was a great example on so many different levels, and a huge loss.
I mean, just so unbelievably sad. And unfortunately, we're here at what's supposed to be a joyous event. So many people have worked so hard on their music and to get their music out and to get nominated for a Grammy, which is, you know, music's biggest night. But it's difficult. It's difficult to celebrate because, as you mentioned, Pat, I mean, Kobe had that effect on not only people in the sports world, but people all over, including myself, who was a fan from the moment he started at the Lakers. I mean, and as I mentioned earlier, as a mother, I mean, your heart just naturally goes out to Vanessa and everyone here walking. Like I said, it's supposed to be a joyous night, but it is definitely turned into a somber evening. I'm also being told that the Grammys are going to perhaps pay some type of tribute tonight to Kobe Bryant. Naturally, of course, we would expect that. For now, we're going to continue getting reaction. For now, we're live at the Staples Center. I'm Brittany Hopper, back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Brittany, I know that Nipsey.
You
we're going to go to a National Transportation Safety Board news conference.
We're likely to have a media briefing sometime tomorrow. Please monitor our Twitter, which is NTSB_newsroom, for those announcements. I have time for a couple of quick questions. If you'll raise your hand, state your name and your affiliation. The question is, what types of things will we be looking for? Our team will be looking at the history of the pilot and whatever crew was on board. We'll be looking at maintenance records of the helicopter. We will be looking at records of the owner and operator of the helicopter, and a number of other things that we look at as part of the investigation.
How soon do you anticipate getting to work tonight in California?
That's hard to tell. The question is how late will we be getting to work? We do have somebody who's on scene or en route from our Western Region office, and so when we get on scene, we'll have to assess what we're able to do at that time.
And after being classified, media on the ground is reporting 9 people were killed in that crash. Does Sikorsky typically carry 9 people with a helicopter that can be capable of carrying that many people?
The question is how many people can be carried in the Sikorsky 76B. We are trying to figure out what the configuration of that helicopter is. It really just depends on the configuration. So that's something we're still trying to verify. One more question. Is it typical to send 18? And I should clarify, it's not a total of 18 investigators. That includes our investigative staff. There's the investigative staff, there's the board members, there are a couple from media relations, there's our family assistance team, and I think that covers it. But it's typical for any of our investigations. This does not change anything. This is just how we would respond to any investigation. Does this type of helicopter have a black box? That's something we'll have to look to as part of the investigation. We're still on our way there. So thank you very much.
That wraps up the NTSB quick press conference here related to the helicopter crash involving Kobe Bryant. The person there had said that they're in the process of verifying the seating aboard that Sikorsky S-76. Reports are there's up to 12 people that could be seated inside this helicopter. We understand there were 9 people on board at that point in time. They have 18 people, Pat, as part of the NTSB investigation. They say this is no more or any less than what they have on a normal investigation of a fatal crash like this. But they will be investigating and heading to that scene. Now, we know that Sheriff Alex Villanueva said those 9 people on board and the bodies remain at the scene in Calabasas, but he would not confirm those identities on board. However, we've confirmed, through CBS News.
And we do have someone else. And I don't want to give that name until we start our newscast, which we are about to momentarily. We do have the name of another person who was aboard that helicopter crash, but also picking up on what you said from that news conference from the NTSB. They're going to look at the pilot, of course, the weather conditions, the owner of the chopper, and which would also be normal in terms of them conducting an investigation, but to try to get some answers, if we can, as to why that helicopter went down. And we will have more news coming up in just a second. A full newscast for you here on KCAL 9, where we have more information about who was on board the chopper that went down. And we, of course, will also be giving more information, condolences coming in from people that you all know, our viewers know, and people really around the world.
Absolutely. We would continue continuous coverage here on KCAL 9. We'll go throughout the evening here as we continue to follow the story of this helicopter crash in Calabasas that happened earlier today involving Kobe Bryant.
Breaking news, Lakers legend Kobe Bryant killed in a tragic helicopter crash in Calabasas. including Kobe's 13-year-old daughter. The stunning news leaves fans around the world in complete shock.
Kobe's the best, man. I wouldn't believe it. He's such a good guy.
Everyone from fans to celebrities to those who knew him best left devastated by the heartbreaking news.
This has been one of the most I felt like I've lost a son.
LA has certainly lost a legend. The world joins the city in mourning the sudden death of Kobe Bryant.
Here's what we know at this hour about the tragedy that is hitting almost everyone very hard today. 9 people on board that aircraft when something went wrong. This was over the city.